5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Same old garbage.
Now all three. Excellent.
Welcome to Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurts, a Simpsons review podcast. I'm your lovable nerd Snurts, aka Joshua Stearns, and joining me is the equally delightful Robin. Don't have a cow, coward.
Heyo, Josh, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing well. This episode is coming out on 4/20. Yeah,
It is.
and I'm very happy because I am a stoner. You partake in the arts of the marijuana as well.
I never, Josh.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't smoke anymore.
Oh, what do you call it in Atlanta?
I
when you're
don't
not
smoke
smoking?
any less either.
So obviously we have been enjoying and been looking forward to this because good for us. Look at us.
Yep.
Matching episodes when they come out with something that's happening the day it comes out.
I know.
What?
Our production is getting like really good, Josh. Like,
Yeah.
really good.
Like we figured out at least 2 dates where we can make things match.
We didn't really actually mean to do either.
No, it just kind of worked this way as well. So I'm just enjoying myself, having a good old time. Very much looking forward to the bachelor party that's coming up the first weekend of May for my buddy Adam, who's getting married. So that'll be some
What
fun.
are y'all doing?
Going to Vegas. Gonna have some
Always
fun
good time.
times. Yep. And
Very silly. It's always very silly.
Yeah. We're gonna be staying at some nice places and hopefully spending a little bit of money and making some memories, and then losing those memories, and then making some more, and then hopefully making our flights
Losing
back
that
home.
money. And
Yeah. It's just a vacuum cleaner. You just put all the money in the vacuum cleaner, and it's the same thing you're doing.
No, you're gonna. I foresee it, Josh. You're gonna pay for your whole trip.
Well, the last time in this group we did a bachelor party, I won the Texas Hold'em tournament and walked away with like $700 in cash. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if like history will repeat, but I hope it rhymes with like 500.
Is it the same person that's getting married again?
No, different person, same group. Yes. But how are you? What's going on with you, bud?
Oh, just planning next week hosting Easter for the family down here. Should be a good old time. I'm going to cook up some lamb kebabs. This weekend's been a blast. My brother, my nephew, and I went to, we're big fans of MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000. And there's a local group in Atlanta that riffs movies. And we went last night. And it's at this really cool old historic theater here. And they riffed Total Recall, the 1999
absolutely.
classic with Arnold.
Yes, I know it very well.
It was a blast. It was absolutely
blast.
Yeah, so it's good times.
Yeah, I miss Danny DeVito. Anyway, if this is your first episode of Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurts, this is how it works. One of us will pick an episode of The Simpsons. We will discuss it, go through the plot, provide questionable impressions, and point out our favorite bits. This week, Robin picked from season 13, episode 16, Weekend at Burnsie's, directed by Michael Marcantel and written by John Vitti. First air date of 4/7/2002. So they were so close to 4/20, but they didn't quite make it.
They tried, Josh. They tried.
So why did you pick Weekend at Burnsies? Besides
we were
the
talking
obvious?
about what episodes are related to marijuana 420. And there's a few. There's several.
Yes, there are
now,
actually.
But this was the first one, and this was the first one to mention marijuana and have anything to do with it or much. I mean, I'd say that's not really true. Otto has always, been token.
Yeah, man.
But to have like Homer get high, like that's a big deal.
I mean, Otto and
then later we got to do much more. I mean, we've seen. This was a big deal at the time, but since then we've seen all sorts of people do all sorts of things.
Well, that's correct, because in a later episode, Marge and Homer actually work at dispensaries as like a side job,
That's right.
Which is going to be another fun one that we'll do down
what
the
you're
road.
talking about is a great premise where
It's pretty good.
like the nice one, and one's at the
There's something kind
like
of
the
like,
old like
yep, it
neighborhood
has a
one.
good concept for it, but we'll save it for that one too,
Yep.
because you know what time it is, man. It's behind the wiki.
Wick, wick,
Wick,
wick,
wick, wick,
wick,
wick, wick,
wick,
wick,
wick,
wick, wiki, woo,
wick, wiki.
wiki.
Wick.
All right, so the commentary was loaded full of people. Just letting you know. There you go.
Oh,
There you
thank
go.
God.
Yep. Episode was pitched by George Meyer, and Al Jean thought it was very funny and assigned it to John Vitti to write the first draft. And that is how jobs work.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
I was reading this and I was like,
Great
yeah, I
story,
mean,
Josh. I like the
that,
way you told it.
that feels like just a day job. There was somebody who's like, I have an idea. You go do that job. And the other person's like, yeah, that's very good. You do the job he said, you know?
Delegation's great.
But because of the use of medical marijuana, which at the time was legal in at least California,
Hmm.
they were freaking out. Fox was very scared. They're like, "Oh, you're just doing what they always wanted, to see Homer with a doobie," and everyone was very hesitant. And they eventually came to a understanding that they could not show anybody actually smoking a marijuana joint or hitting a bong or something like that. It's always implied that they smoke, but you never see them actually doing it. So kids are not taught through a cartoon how to
I
smoke
definitely
weed.
felt I definitely felt, Josh, like they were like obviously really trying not to offend and trying to
Right.
really give themselves outs with every aspect of it,
Yep.
which I thought was I know it was necessary at the time, but it felt a little bit heavy, I
But
thought.
it's also pretty funny because I think sometimes the restraints make the humor even better. And so instead of having, just seeing Homer light one up and smoke one, right? Like you get like this
It
cool
insinuate.
psychedelic
Yep.
stuff and
Yep.
great music. And so there is a theme that basically every
Use your
time music is
imagination, yeah.
playing and it kind of suddenly cuts off, that's the whole idea of like, oh, they were smoking, stopped, and now you're going to have the scene
I
that
feel
we're
that.
going to
It's a
see.
great way to look at it. Yeah.
And so what's also funny is that this episode, when it came out, did not get ridiculed very heavily, unlike the Brazil episode that came out in that same season where they
Yep.
were like basically demonized by an entire country because they didn't like the portrayal of the Simpsons going to that country.
I
So you
mean,
never know what people are going to get outraged by. Like you think it's going to be all the
it,
stoners and pop people being like, oh no, don't infect the children or whatever, right?
yeah, I mean, that's funny because it tells you where America was at the time. Like we all knew, like I knew that people were just okay with it. So many people already smoked it. Like the illegal weed trade was booming at the
Sure.
time, and we
Yeah.
were all getting great weed. So
Absolutely. I don't like, but most of my family are stoners or stoner adjacent. So,
yeah,
it's just to me always been a part of my life.
from
And
the
I'm
Northern
very happy that we are in
California
different
area.
times than we were like back then, right?
Yeah,
It's much better
absolutely.
nowadays. It's also funny because it's not only the Americans that were uncomfortable with this episode. Australia actually rated this as M, which I guess is their highest
Mature.
TV,
Yeah.
mature rating. It reminds me very much of the video game. You know exactly what you're getting, M, mature. And then the UK, apparently on Sky One or Channel 4, they couldn't allow it to air until after 9 p.m. And it couldn't be
Okay.
used in promos for advertisement purposes. So you couldn't have like this episode be like,
Yeah.
tonight on The Simpsons, Homer gets baked, type of thing.
Homer smokes a fat doob.
And at the
I
time,
guess it'd be British. Tonight on the BBC,
right,
Homer smokes a fat doobie.
instead of getting smashed, he got high.
He got hashed.
There you go. Also, at the time of this recording, Fish was apparently on hiatus for a couple years, but the members decided to come in and record all the dialogue together for the show. So I think that's pretty cool. And the whole band.
What year was this again?
2000.
2002.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So the DVD commentary is kind of meh. There's a few things if I remember we'll bring up, but the one thing that I really want to highlight, and this is going to be a little rant of mine, Matt Groening's like, why do weed trips always feel like acid on these shows? And I can't agree with that more. I'm a big stoner. I've done other things, including acid, and I have to say, I never experienced the same thing between the two, but whenever people smoke weed in like pop culture or whatever during a certain era, it's like they're on the most magical bus ride ever, and there's rainbows,
You always get like those
hallucinogens,
kaleidoscope
the kaleidoscope
colors.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like, all right, I don't get it, because usually it's just me going like, "Ha, I like cartoons, munchy, munchy, munchy." You know, let me play some video games. Like it's never like, "Woo, look at
Uh,
woo."
I have experienced many different levels of being intoxicated with marijuana. Uh, I made some brownies a long time ago, probably 2005.
Oh, brownies, they'll get you.
The hardest I've ever tripped in my life.
Yeah,
And
edibles, man, edibles are
brownie.
scary,
Whew,
to be
I
honest.
made it myself. I was very
Yeah,
proud of it, but I was like, I don't want to eat this
even more
anymore.
scary when you make it
I don't want to
yourself.
eat this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I immediately regret my decision.
Exactly. I have the buyer's remorse.
Nice. Well, that's all I got for behind the wiki and the
Yeah,
DVD commentary. Like I said,
yeah, it was
wasn't
pretty
really a
low.
lot there.
Yeah,
So let's get started. Couch gag. What do you think? Gardener
meh.
trimming. Yeah, we're
Definitely
good.
meh.
I
I
mean,
didn't get what was the little blue thing?
I think that was the
There's
ball
like
of
a
the
ball.
antenna ball from the TV.
Oh,
But I know what you mean because it looks
that
like an
was tripping
eyeball
me out.
the way it was placed. Yeah. Right.
Why was it tripping me out so much?
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, when you mainline a joint and you All right, so we start off with making fun of GMO, and I love this whole right. And then Marge is like, she's so proud of herself. She's like, "Hey, everybody!"
All right, family. Who can guess what's different about dinner tonight?
Same old garbage. And then
Everybody laughs
all the kids
along
start
with
laughing.
Homer.
Even Marge like kind of
It's like,
giggles.
Mark
And
goes,
then,
the guy's always on.
yeah, and it's like our vegetables are made from GMO vegetables, and it's like, well, this corn doesn't look too small. That's baby corn. What?
That's baby corn. Oh my god.
And then we get a little bit of much like our last episode with Who
Yeah.
Shot Mr. Burns Part 2. We get a lot of Marge and kind of Lisa in this like counter argument, right? So
Well, of
Lisa's
course.
like, hey, I don't know if GMOs are that like all they're made
Well,
out to
she's
be.
talking about like American corporations. She's like, American corporations should stop playing God with nature.
Right.
Marge goes, there's nothing to be afraid of. They're all grown by the vegetable division at Union Carbide, now Dow Chemicals, of course. And
And then Lisa's like,
your favorite
Ma,
line.
my potato's eating a carrot.
It's just the carrot like, hum, 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 hum.
That's it.
It actually like makes the chewy noise and a swallow sound too, which is wild. So then Marge is like, all right, you win this round, Lisa. We're done. Like we're going to go with Dirty Hoe brand seeds and I'm going to make my own crops.
She's traumatized. She's like, I'm
Yeah.
going to grow all of my own vegetables.
But she's good. She's already tilled the soil. Like, she's ready to go. And then she throws
Rolled
out
up
the seed.
sleeves.
And the crows immediately fly down and start to eat them.
I
She does
know.
a shoosh with it.
Immediately when she throws the seeds down, they're just
Yeah.
like, you grab them
We're done.
all.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you for the corn.
She's so disappointed.
And then so she has to build a scarecrow. So she puts the cross up first as like, the little backbone.
That she's going to build
right?
it on.
Yeah. And we get a
The
great
brain.
little, okay. So in the way back machine, I don't think
Yeah.
our viewership is on the younger side. I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember
I'm
VH1's
guessing.
pop-up video.
Yeah,
And we
pop-up
get all
video.
sorts of little facts that pop up, and the song that is playing is the Scarecrow song from The Wizard of Oz. So it's ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-bum, 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 whoop, type of thing.
There it is. That was a much better version.
And then a comic book guy is in the little bubble, and we see Lisa's jersey from Lisa on Ice, Bark's jockey pants from Saddlesaur Galactica, and then a jack-o'-lantern from like 3 of the tree houses, and Grandpa's hat from Who Shot Grandpa's Hat. So kids,
I looked him up. I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And apparently the only one that is not correct is Who Shot Grandpa's Hat.
Correct.
But
Everything
we
else
need
is
it.
fine. I also love how it's Treehouse of Horror 3, 9, and 12. Not like, they were very specific with the numbers.
I know.
And then she comes outside and we see the Flanders and his two boys
They have
praying.
replaced the crows.
It's hilarious. They are praying at the cross. And we always hear like,
And Marge does the same thing she did with the crows. She grabs a broom. It's like, get away, get away.
and then she goes away and they come right back.
Right back.
Wait, I lost my place. No, I'm lost.
Oh, Ned.
Oh, it's so
and
fun.
The kids.
Then, okay, so Marge is successful. She builds the scarecrow. As soon as they put the hat on top of the pumpkin, the scarecrows go back to the trees.
It's a funny little bit where, like, the crows are just sitting there. She builds everything, and then she puts the hat on. They're like, "Oh shit, they did it!" Oh
yeah. No, we're done. Like once that hat's on, like we take this seriously now. Well, yeah! Hi, I'm Earl, the owner of Dirty Ho Burnsies off of Rural Route 9. I'm here today with a warning. GMOs are invading America. Yeah, that's right. Be alarmed. Don't believe the lies. These mutant monstrosities will soon come for your children and your children's children. Now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to start calling cops. Dirty Hoes are here to help. Don't believe me? Well, you got some nerve, mister. But I don't mind. Listen to these satisfied customers.
After I was done thinking of the children, I got my hands dirty for the first time in years. It was thrilling, spreading seeds into the moist earth with helpful dirty hoes. I grew concerned about GMOs after witnessing a brawl between two eggplants and an acorn squash. Then I started to grow my own food and immediately noticed an improvement in health. These dirty hoes work wonders. I was concerned about the quality of the dirty hose. That all changed once I thrust my hand into a hoe bag.
Well, shit. Whoa, can I say shit? I don't know if I can say shit. Well, shit, we're moving on. We got the dirtiest hose in the tri-state area. Y'all come down here today, we'll throw in a goddamn scarecrow cross for free. I tell you that right now. All right, Earl out. And I also love how Marge has her little victory chant. Like, yeah, I did it. Marge is in the house, or I will be soon because it needs some cleaning.
She's so Marge.
And then we get an equally great line because Homer shows up and he does not know apparently the scarecrow is a thing and he gets scared.
He sees
runs
it like
away
in a shadow and it's like shot like a horror film.
Yeah,
he's terrified.
Much like Jasper in the last episode, right? When it was like just the outline and the fancy sidewalk walking, and I love how he just screams and he goes, "I'll regroup at Red Lobster."
I'll regroup at Red Lobster.
I
feel
so
like random and it's amazing.
I don't know. I might be down with that. Like if I'm in a scary moment and like someone really scared the shit out of me, like maybe I do need to regroup at Red Lobster.
It's not really my fast food chain.
No, it's the Denny's of seafood. It's like
I don't eat a lot of seafood, so Red Lobster is not where it is for me.
Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have sushi any day of the week. But like,
no, I'll regroup it. Yeah, I'll regroup at a sushi spot.
Yeah, I'll regroup at Oops Sushi, right?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that sounds great. Perfect.
But it's just a very Homer-esque thing to say. And I don't know why Red Lobster made me laugh. I mean, it could have been Denny's, Carol's, like, McDonald's, In-N-Out. Like, you know what I mean? It could have been so, but Red Lobster just made me laugh. And like, he comes back with a vengeance.
So I love that. He's like coming back to like get the job done. He's probably had a couple of pops, you know, and he's like got a crowbar in his hand. It just absolutely smashes the hell out of the fucking scarecrow.
I can imagine Homer ordering one of those drinks from Red Lobster that had like too many things in it, like a crab leg, a piece of bacon, a lobster tail, a shrimp.
Like a Bloody Mary with all that crap on top.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now that he killed the scarecrow, however, he has some new friends.
No! You ain't pretty no more. Oh, look.
The crows. And he like has his arms out and they all kind of land on him. They all perch.
All come to him.
Right? And he goes, "Hey, now go and do my bidding," whatever that may be. And they come back with a porno mag, a beer, a sandwich, chips, and a donut.
Yeah,
It's
they're like
amazing. It's an
bringing
amazing
him gifts
visual.
back because I love how they do bring him. They bring him a play dude, which is
Absolutely.
their Playboy ripoff. Always a good time.
And of course, he has to bring his friends, his new friends, to his old friends. So he goes to Mo, and everyone's
Well, and
horrified.
he is theirs. He explains it, which I thought was funny. He goes, "So Lisa says by killing their enemy, I became an alpha crow."
And everybody is cowered in the corner. So there's like, there's like the usual barflies, right? Lenny, Carl, Larry, etc. And then Mo is kind of taken aback, and like he's leaning far back away from the bar, and he's like, "Hey, Homer, I got a little man. I'm kind of nervous here, Yeah, we haven't seen Barney since they enveloped him." And then Homer pulls out a button, and it's like a
His
blood drop comes
blood
down.
drips off of it. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll turn up.
Yeah, he's like, all right, you all got to get out of here. This ain't no crowbar. This is a crow. And he reaches under the bar, and you think he's going to pull out the weapon. But instead, he pulls out a little painting with a bunch of little crows and little stools. He's like, see, there you go. Little stools and everything.
This is a crowbar.
It's a
The
crowbar.
bar for crows.
I love that joke. It is so cheap and charming at the same time. Like because like it's just a basic misdirect, right?
Oh,
Like
it's so funny because
but the way
it's
it's delivered. The way it's delivered,
Yes.
and it's Mo, and like there's a soft side of Mo that he doesn't show that often, but just like him, he's like, I like to collect pictures with little animals in box, right? So like I have the crows, I have the gerbils.
I'm part of a group. We collect them. And trade them around.
Look, I was trying to do fish, but it doesn't make sense with the tails. I don't know where to put the tails. All right. So what else do we have here?
So we cut back to the house.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And he's in bed with Marge, and all the crows are in bed. And he starts. I loved it. He starts naming the crows, and they're hilarious.
Russell Crowe, Cameron Crowe, Crow Diddley, Hume Cronin, Gregory Peck.
Hume Cronin. I love Hume Cronin as an actor, but I've got me as a reference. I wonder. So I came up with a couple, Josh.
What do you got?
I came up with Cruella DeVille, Simon Cowell.
All right, yeah.
Lauren Bacall.
I don't know who that is.
Lauren Bacall, the famous actress from the great era. Sheryl Crow.
You mean the silent star of Lulu?
No. Sheryl Crow, Josh. Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow makes sense. Absolutely. You could have just said Chris Crow. I mean, there's probably a Chris Crow out there, right?
Who's Chris Crow?
There's like 14 Chris's.
Marge is like, Homer, I'm not very comfortable having a gang of crows in our bedroom.
Nicholas Crow Cage.
Oh God!
I'm sorry. I'll stop. Yeah, I also love. Yeah, all right. So you set that up pretty good too, because Marge is very comfortable about this.
I'd love to have a crow nut.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Get on with it.
It's not getting any better.
No, I'll go in the opposite. In fact.
So Marge is uncomfortable with a gang of crows in the bedroom, and then what does Homer say?
He's like, "It's a murder, honey. A group of crows is called a murder."
And then Marge leaves, and the crows kind of like come up and like pull up the sheets too. It's kind of cute. It's also amazing that there is not bird shit everywhere. Like you just, you know what I mean? They could have ran with that kind of joke. It should have been. It probably would have
started using the toilet.
If it was like a South Park thing, they probably would have. There'd be like bird shit everywhere. But like, it's amazing that like Homer has been the alpha crow for a few days, and there's no poop to be found.
He's a good alpha, clearly, Josh.
Which is why he gets to relax in the backyard the following day. And he's
in
at
a
this
hammock.
point,
He's like swinging in a hammock.
At this point, he's having the crows feed him the Simpsons movie donut, like by the beak, and he's just like, don't cram it in. I'll just do it myself.
As he like jams it down his throat, which is what mothers do.
Bird would do.
Yeah, in the bird world. And he's like,
and then we have another moment too where like Homer, it's almost like a genie, right? Where you shouldn't be saying things in front of the crows, right? Like, oh, look, Maggie's flapping her arm. She wants to fly. And the crows are like, all right, our boss says, let's go fly. You know what I mean?
Down, and they grab her, like four of them, like two on each arm. and they fly her up into the sky.
And she
And
slips
Homer's
out of her.
upset. He's like,
She's
"Hey,
oh
cut
yeah,
it out!"
yeah, very much so because she eventually falls through her onesie,
Yeah, and she's high too. They
right?
have her at like 10,000 feet up there.
And she puts up a parachute with her diaper. Thank God it wasn't full.
It's so cute.
I
It's
mean,
less cute if it's full. You're right,
yeah, very less cute. And then
but it's
Homer.
so cute.
What I love about Homer is he immediately catches her and she's like, "All right, you're good," and puts her down naked, just outside, good to go. Like, I know you have naked time with your kid, whatever, in the backyard sometimes. Let them get one with nature, but like, it's
Absolutely.
just kind of funny. Like, you just fell from the sky, you're good. Let me go yell at these
Just
crows.
plop you down.
Yeah,
She's a
uh,
free grazer,
right.
She's
And
gonna
then there's a
chop
back
some
and forth
grass.
between the crows and Homer, and it's just like, "Hey, we need to lay down some crown rules." Caw, caw, caw. We'll get to
We'll
that.
get to that.
And each time they're like barking and popping. Maybe I'll add that in post and it'll sound better. And then it basically says like, we need some time apart, and they go, "Shoo, stupid crows, shoo, stupid crows." At this point, the crows turn on him,
Oh yeah, they're
and
mad too.
what does
And we
Homer
already
say?
know what they did to Barney.
Right, and what does Homer say before we cut to a commercial break?
They just send on him like shit, what's the fish piranha. They just send on him like piranha, and he's like, "Ow, ow, ow, oh, that's not a worm."
And then when we come
Good
back
old
from
dick
commercial
joke.
break, he's getting eye stitches.
Oh
And
no.
this is where the
Horrible.
marijuana begins. So just give me 1 second here. Just get going. Yeah, this is where we get high. Or
I want to get high,
so I know
so
you like the reason
high.
why the crows were
Want to get
attacking his eye.
high. Oh, back to that all. So at the doctor's office, he's getting fucking stitches in the eyeball, man. It is so graphic. It's like horrible to see. And he's like, "Oh, stupid crows." And Dr. Hibble's like, "Don't be mad at the crows, Homer. They were just trying to drink your sweet, sweet eye juices." It's a
Fascinating,
great
doctor.
phrase.
Can you do anything about this searing pain?
Well, there is a medication, although it's a little controversial.
Does it go in the butt?
Such a good line. I'm talking about medicinal marijuana. You do this one very well.
Okay, I'm talking about medicinal marijuana, prescription pot, Texas THC.
Look, man, I don't do drugs.
All right, so before I'm gonna do a little out of place time for the analysis here. Hibbert keeps doing jokes after we have a little bit of a flashback scene, and I think it's just fitting to just get them all out of the way. He basically
do it.
says, "The right tonic is chronic. Pot is only illegal for those who enjoy it," which at the time floored me because you had to have medical marijuana license to smoke it. You had to have some kind of ailment that was approved by a doctor. And it very much made me laugh that they're like, "Yeah, I know, like all those people who actually want to smoke it for fun, go fuck yourself."
Only
I,
for those who enjoy it.
I also love how the prescription comes with a free bong and you either get a skull or a wizard.
What's funny about it is those bongs, they're so fucking
They're so cheap
recognizable.
too. They're
Those,
so
but
cheap.
you always, they're like the little footies that had like
Yep.
the
Yeah.
little cheap ceramic at the
Yep.
bottom and
Yep.
stuff. Yeah,
$15 at a
definitely.
fucking head shop, and it's gonna last for like, you can't clean it because it just like as soon as you try to take it apart, it freaking breaks.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. No, it's that
Uh,
high engineering going
right.
on. Or is it?
So then we get a flashback in between the zingers, and it's Homer in like that magical time between like summer, which is summer school, which was the time between regular school and summer or some stuff like that. I forget what he said.
Yeah, he had a bad experience. He says, I had a bad experience with drugs the summer little weekend between summer school and regular school.
That was it, in between summer school and regular school. And we have
Like,
Lenny and
I love
Carl
how
are
he has to go to school all the time because he's not
right,
that
of course. and Lenny and Carl smoking under the bleachers. And this was a funny part in the commentary. And they're like, "Oh, look, they look like they're actually smoking."
Oh yeah.
There's no like music playing or anything like that. They're just getting high, and it's okay. They're like,
All
"Oops."
right. Because back in the 70s, see,
Yeah, it was
so
okay
wasn't.
back then when it
Yeah,
was
so not
super
modern
illegal, not semi-legal.
time. Hey, Homer, want to smoke some marijuana?
They say it's a gateway drug.
So I love Wiggum coming in as like
With Sergeant Scraps. I love
he's like an
Sergeant Scraps.
ROTC for cops, and he's got a drug dog with him, and I love Liddy going, "Uh-oh, crotch the weed, man."
Well. If it isn't the Doobie Brothers.
Homer's got this lit joint down
It
his
is
pants,
coming
and
out
it's
of his like
smoking.
belt. Yeah, it's so obvious that it's smoking.
Dude, that
And then
that lit joint down there.
so we've seen this kind of animation many times. I think most recently I saw it in the Avengers film where Hulk takes Loki and just goes pound, pound,
Uh-huh.
pound, 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 puny
Yep,
god.
yep.
But we've seen this before in Looney Tunes, Chuck Jones, right? Disney cartoons.
But
Not by the balls.
not by the crotch area.
Yeah.
The drug dog just chomps down on
Right
it,
on the crotch.
full mouth, like
Yep.
got the whole thing in there.
Yes.
He just starts slinging him.
And that is why, for Homer, the 60s ended that day in 1978. And we get so Homer is now coming home after getting his new prescription.
Yep,
And we hear some of Incense and Peppermints, and this is where we start to get the cool music.
absolutely.
There's a lot of cool stoner music in this one.
Decisions, persuasions, color your mind. Incense and peppermints, the color of time.
Incense, peppermints.
Peppermints.
Yeah, anyway, it's good times.
Yeah.
And once again, to just reiterate, anytime you hear music throughout this episode of this nature, odds are someone's going to get high. Homer immediately goes up to the bedroom and he basically is reading the prescription, and it looks like a pill bottle, sorry. And you just pull out a joint and it's like, toke as needed. And it was like, I love this. That's great. That's
It has like the caution that's like caution.
Yeah.
Objects may appear more edible than they actually are.
Oh, good call out. And so Homer about to hit it, and then it zooms in, and I love in the commentary it's like, however did he get high if he never put it in his mouth? Someone yelled. I was like, like it was just, they were obviously making fun of like the censorship of it and whatnot. And then again, Matt Groening brought up, it's like, okay, I mean, this is more of an acid trip, but I guess it's weed too. It's very colorful. There's kaleidoscope.
Like the 60s, yeah, into the 70s,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but it's also like was like more Jack
flowers,
Kerouac
yeah,
and like the bus with the acid
absolutely.
and whatnot.
Like the Beatles used to do.
Sure, yeah. And we get basically Homer is singing "Smoke on the Water" as smoke billows down the stairs, and we got Marge, Bart, and Lisa downstairs,
billowing down like he's hotboxed the entire house.
And once again, we don't know where Maggie is anymore. She's probably just off in the jungle with some bears again. But they have Marge, Bart, and Lisa down there. And Lisa's like, it smells like the art teacher's office.
Of course it's the art teacher.
It's so good.
Smoke on the water.
Uh-oh. And then like Marge runs upstairs, Bart and Lisa chase after him. Marge like is trying to like literally like shoulder her way in by the end of it. And I love Bart very calmly just mom puts a credit card, opens it up like through a swipe, opens the door, and then Marge is able to go in and confront Homer, right?
Because Bart is a miscreant. He knows how to break.
It was just such a baller move. It was like, mom, I got this.
Mom, this is what I do.
You didn't even say mom. The only reason I said mom is because it's an audio medium, and you couldn't see me do the swipe motion with my arm.
But Josh is currently swiping back and forth like he's holding a credit card. Okay, now go.
So this sets up the conflict between husband and wife for the episode. Marge is anti-pot. Homer is pro-pot because of his eyes. You got any you got anything that stands out for you in this exchange?
So I love when she comes in and she like snatches the joint from him, and she's like, "You're doing drugs, and now I'm guilty of possession. I could go to prison." unless I testify against you. And she gets like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, if I go down for this, I'm taking your ass down.
I just thought like Marge is going to learn the lesson that snitches get stitches, but that's okay. We get
It is
Homer's
funny.
explanation that it's totally legal. I got this from the doctor, and I could walk up to the president and blow smoke in his stupid monkey face, and you just have to sit there and get grooving on it.
Grooving on it, man. He
That's
says
right.
it like, an old 70s hippie movie, like, and he just had to sit there grooving on it, man.
Now we get more psychedelic smoking jokes with the music playing, great music in the background, and water is replaced with rainbows, and also blood is replaced with rainbows. So it's
He
real
walks
funny.
in the bathroom
Because
to
like,
get ready.
first off, there's a big pile of smoke above the roof of the room that he's like entering with the smoke, like he's Nightcrawler of X-Men going,
They
bam, I just
do
got
not
high.
have good ventilation in that house. I just want to
And
point that out, Josh.
and so then he like turns on the faucet, rainbows come down, he looks at his razor, a big smiley face is there with cartoonish eyes, and he just kind of shaves in a very rapid fashion, and then we see various water sprouts just coming out of his chin, meaning
Just
like he just cut himself up.
He just cut
Like,
the shit out of himself. There's blood pouring out of his cheeks. But it's rainbows.
And also, PSA, when you are experiencing marijuana or other intoxicants, always drive safe. But Homer decides to get into a car. He is still tripping because he's flying through the sky, and there's like donuts coming out of the coolant tower, and he's just kind of like, yeah.
So there was a little Easter egg there, is apparently the car that he's in, which has the eyes and everything, looks almost exactly like Benny the Cab from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a movie that I've...
I love, Benny the Cab, absolutely. That's dope. Sweet.
Get in! We're going to Toontown.
So back at the table, we get Marge is feeding Maggie. She's okay. She's okay, everybody. The mystery of missing Maggie has been solved for this episode.
She's hungry because she got high.
Well, I'm just glad that she just like didn't disappear for the entire episode. She came back pretty quick, so that was fine. She was probably just playing with the dog.
This
naked.
is like the Bechdel test. Is like, do we have enough?
Where is Maggie?
Maggie.
Where is Maggie?
Yeah.
So we get the phone ringing. Marge, I just realized I am the owl in the word now. And if you tell anybody...
She's like, honey, I like it when you call, but we just talked 5 minutes ago. Hang on, I got another call waiting. Hello?
Hey, it's me. I got Marge on the other line, and she's totally bumming me out.
It's such a silly scene.
It's
silly.
Great.
It's so great. He is absolutely typical, but they do it so well. He's kind of a caricature, but they do it so well in this episode, I thought.
Yep, and Homer is definitely getting some love towards Lisa because later that night he's eating chips while she's playing the sax. All right, so folks,
on her bed with her, she's playing the sax, and he's high as hell, and he's just loving it.
And if you're an eagle eye like me, you'll notice that at a couple of the scenes, the bag that Homer is eating of potato chips says extra fancy potato chips overall, but being blockaged by his foot and hand will say extra fancy pot.
It's Jinkies.
Jinkies.
I don't know if that was on purpose or if that just kind of came back from Korea and they're like, roll with it.
Or is it purpose? Does it mean like he got some kind bud, extra fancy pot? He got some.
Well, maybe he got some extra fancy pot chips, in addition to the wizard bong. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, if he's eating edibles like that, he'd probably be asleep for a week.
Yeah, but that sounds really good, Josh. We should get some of those sometime.
I do want extra fancy pot. The pot that I have today, what do I have? I have... Also, pot names are stupid. So here we go. Lemon cherry gelato. And it's not a dessert.
Mm.
It's not a dessert. It's just something I'm smoking.
Sounds delicious, though.
What did you have?
I got a strain called Guava, which is meant to be a sativa hybrid, but it's supposed to be energetic and fun.
Again, it sounds like a fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it tastes just like a guava, which I've never actually tasted, I don't think. But
So it turns out this extra fancy pot is keeping Homer up to 1 a.m. and Lisa is complaining because she is out of saliva. And she's like, hey, Dad, come on. Like, I just...
I'm done. He fucking pulls out a tenner and's like tipping her, and she's like, it's a gig. She didn't say that, but she kind of shrugs her shoulders and starts playing again.
There's also a whole dialogue between him and Bart, and he's like, "How come all of a sudden you're into like her playing saxophone? I thought you hated that." He's like, "Well, because of Dad's new medicine, which you should never ever try.
Never do.
It gets to make me see magical, wonderful things when she's playing music you will never experience."
Ever. He's like adamant about like you're never gonna do this, but he's talking so lovingly about his new perspective, if we'll call it.
And then the scene ends with him going, "That would make a great pipe."
Because he's looking at the saxophone. This is such a classic fucking stoner meme, I'll say, of like you get real creative when you don't have pipes and things, and you make little bongs and pipes out of anything you can find around the house.
Apples, aluminum
Absolutely.
foil.
Yeah, aluminum cans. Smoking
Oh,
out
what
of
is
a
that
Coke
bit from
can.
Half Baked? He's like, "Get me a snorkel mask, an avocado, and some duct tape. Trust me, bro, I've made bongs with less."
We did a bong. It's always a fun one.
Oh, gravity bongs. Those
Yeah,
are silly and stupid, but fun.
yeah.
Also, dabs. Dabs are insane. When you guys all
Oh
start
yeah.
bringing your chemistry sets in here, and you're like, "I have to like heat the
Mm-mm.
nail to put the wax on there," I'm like,
No.
And
Look,
then,
I'm a lightweight. I don't smoke that much. If
man, the
I
last
don't
time I
smoke
did
that
that
much.
was before a poker party, and let's just say
It's
I
like
lost all my money.
massively
I lost
concentrating. Nobody
all
needs
my
that.
money. I got way too high. It was ridiculous. That was more
Speaking of getting way too high,
okay. Oh yeah, we're doing a podcast, aren't we?
we're where even are we, Josh? Where
I don't
even
know. We're
are
only
we?
38 minutes in. I think we're good. I think we're good. It's just a little dirty. It's just a little. No, it's just a little stony. We're still good. We're still good.
Uh,
All right. So the next day, Flanders comes over. Same bit. Homer just smoked weed. And he's like, "Oh my God, this dude does the best Flanders. He got the mustache and the diddly. Okay, now do Wiggum." Uh, uh, no,
Homer's me.
it's me, Ned. Yeah.
He's always like, "Oh right, the God dude. Hey, I got a question for you. Could Jesus microwave a burrito so hot that he himself could not eat it?"
Well, I mean, of course he could, and then, well, yes, we could. Wow, as melon scratchers go, that's a honey doodle. I love that
Homer's
line.
like,
I love that line.
"That's a
I
honey
use that
doodle."
anytime I get confused with something with work or in life or trying to like edit with the podcast or whatever. I always just kind of think like, wow, as a melon scratcher goes, that's a honey doodle, and I don't know what it means.
That's great.
It just means I'm confused and I'm trying to figure it out, but I feel like I could figure it out, and if not, I could eat the honey melon. I guess I don't know. Uh,
Like, sick of being denied? Want to get high?
yes, cannabis.
You over this shit? Need to get blitzed?
Yes-I-Cannabis.
Lost in a maze. It's time to blaze.
See your cannabis.
Life's a fucking joke. It's time for a toke.
Yes-I-Cannabis.
Yes-I-Cannabis.
Right on, man. That was cool. It's great. And I also love how Ned is like, "All right, I'm stumped. I know this book. I know this book has the answer." And Homer like takes the Bible from him and just goes, "Oh, this is long. Could you read it to me?" And we get Ned going, I
He
think
almost
that
cries. He's like
I
about to
think that
cry.
could be arranged.
He arranged. Oh, he's about to cry. It was great.
It's
It's
so
such a
good.
sweet little moment. He's so excited.
Oh, he's so. And then it cuts to Ned finishing the Bible.
The grace of the Lord Jesus be with God's people. The end.
Wow, wow, wow! God does so much for me, and He doesn't ask for anything in return.
He's like, Ned's like, I know he's wishing he signed this petition to recriminalize medicinal marijuana.
Done and done. Now do Wiggum.
Well, okay, I guess it'd be something like this, like, all right, Simpson, you're under arrest, see?
I said Wiggum.
I do love
So I
that
also like how that was actually Hank. they had Hank record that line. It wasn't Harry Shearer, who usually does Ned Flanders, doing an impression of
Oh.
Wiggin. That was actually Hank doing that voice,
Doing
so
it exactly. Like it
right,
was literally
but
his
he added the
voice.
C because it's a Cagney reference. He's like,
Yeah,
"You dirty rat,"
absolutely.
like type of thing. Like that's what the voice
That's
is based off of.
meta. He was playing
So
Ned
it was pretty fun.
doing Wiggum.
So now, believe it or not, after all this time, we actually get to something that's relevant to the name of this episode, Weekend at Burnsie's, because the way they're actually going to land this plane is by introducing a third act element right now, which is Burns and Smithers are talking about the speech to investors because there's 60 million in the hole. And the way Burns is going to explain it is like an IPO is kind of like an IPU. And then I hold my nose thusly.
I love the hold my nose thusly. It's he has great language in his bit in this.
Well, and also, we cannot get away from Burns. We've been on a Burns streak
Oh
for
no.
some time, which I love because like I really get
Oh
mileage
yeah.
out of the voice. But like we've been doing a lot. I was thinking as I was like doing my notes, I was like, oh yeah, more Burns. Hell yeah.
One of the lines that I absolutely love in this scene is when he says, "I have to raise 60 million or we're out of business," and Smithers goes, "Why is that, sir?" And he goes, "I told you, I pissed it away."
Don't make that face. Yes, that's the one.
And Burns goes, "Smithers, I need someone who laughs at all my jokes. Honest feedback."
In walks
then
Stoner
closes
Homer.
the doors. He's like, "Oops."
Well, you're a happy Homer. What's your name, young man?
You just said it! Yeah.
It's so stupid. This is like the basic dumbass slapstick shit, right? Like,
It
you know what I
is.
mean?
It looked like cliche stoner stuff. He's like, "Oh, whoops! I thought this was the can, man."
All right. So at this point, I really want to know where Hibbert got that weed because
Yeah.
I find silly shit funny, regardless of stoner level. And sometimes I've been blown out of my mind. I'm like, whoa, why are stars called stars and not
Man.
something else, dude? And kind of go off on the deep end. But I've never been like, oh, you're a happy Homer.
Burns calls him a braying moron.
Right.
He's just laughing at everything.
And he's still laughing.
He's just
like,
laughing at everything he's saying. Exactly. It's like, let me tell you about this one.
It's almost
working
like
hard or hardly working.
Hardly working.
Oh man, Homer's dying. He's laughing.
But then here's my argument: if Homer is a big lovable dog, and you give your big lovable dog weed,
yeah,
maybe this is what you get.
Yeah. I don't know if you're suggesting giving pets weed, Josh.
No, only if they ask for it.
Like,
they have to give consent.
Rocky?
Right. Yeah. They're like, chronic.
Chronic.
So Burns is so impressed with this that he's like, you know what? You are my new executive vice president, Homer Simpson.
He does it a lot, by the way.
I also love how Smithers goes in and is like, sir, that position was informally promised to me. Oh, Smithers, I would have said anything to get your stem cells.
So that is quit as such a chef's kiss Burns right there.
Oh, it's so good. I also like how Homer just starts rubbing his face and we see a little animation area and all of a sudden Burns has like two eyes on the right side. For some reason.
I didn't catch
that.
Yeah.
When you've seen this episode as much as I have, and I'll get that in my
yes.
final thoughts, you see things.
Mm-hmm.
But he just you are covered by a very fine fuzz. And I've been so high before. I've been on, again, so many things. I have never went up to someone's face, put my hand on it, and been like, you are fuzzy.
Josh, you're just not doing it right, man.
I guess, yeah. Right. Well, maybe I need to go to more of the fuzzy stuff. I don't know.
He goes, I just love you're covered with a very fine fuzz. He's like,
the promotion comes in hot and fast. We have a brand new convertible Mercedes-Benz, a suit that is baller. I'm a fan of the gray suits myself.
Yeah.
He's wearing a very nice shark gray suit, I believe, with
Yeah.
some nice blue tie and
Yeah.
whatnot. Pay attention to the suit because it will not stay that nice for long. And we get this fun confrontation, and this is where the heart of the conflict comes in for Act 2. We have Marge, who is the anti-pot person, but Homer is pro-pot, and we're kind of showing that, like, hey, Homer just got a leg up at work. His boss actually knows who he is. He has a new suit, a new car, a new position. Apparently, more money for medical marijuana.
And he gets a kick out of the jokes too. Like Homer's
No, he's
into it.
literally
Like his
coming
entire
back
job
home.
is to laugh at this guy.
He's laughing. He's like, hardly working. That motherfucker. You know, like he's still having a good old time. Like you came home from a movie and you're just like, oh,
I can't believe that.
Yeah, that's so great. Yeah, apple pie. Of course, it's like
hilarious.
Anyway, and so we get Homer comes in. And he's like, whoa, one question at a time, you. And then Marge goes,
like,
look, I'm really starting to
shoot. Where'd you get that suit, Homer?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. And he's like, whoa, one at a time. And I love this bit from Marge. And I'm sorry. This is why I'm so insistent, because this is one of my favorite lines, just period, out of this entire episode. Marge, look, I'm really starting to get worried. There's half-eaten cupcakes everywhere. We're all out of paper clips. And the curtains smell like doob. I thought back in the day she said doob, like D-E-W. I didn't know she said doob until I did this episode's research.
That's
so
such a different poem, Josh.
Right? But also it's like, you know, when you like misremember music lyrics and you fill it in the blanks yourself.
I mean, that's literally all
right?
I do.
So like I feel like I did that for this line, but it's still one of my favorites because I have in my life had half-eaten cupcakes everywhere. I am always out of paper clips. And my curtains definitely smell like doob.
Doob. It was the curtains smell like doob, like Doobie Brothers.
But Homer
like
is clapping back, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well I got news for you. I just got promoted at work, and it's thanks to Yes-I-Cannabis."
Yes-I-Cannabis.
And he storms off, and he says,
"Whoa, we have a kitchen."
Chef's kiss. Chef's motherfucking kiss.
I was watching this episode this morning with my nephew, and that was the line that he like barked out laughing. He's like, that was great.
Fucking hilarious.
We have a kitchen.
So good. All right. Later,
so
that
Marge
night,
goes to bed.
Yes.
And she's dead asleep, and she gets woken up by the TV in the attic. And it's clearly playing, if you know the genre, it's playing a Three Stooges episode. And there's some woman on TV going, now where were those 3 chandelier hangers I hired? And you hear this crash, and it's like, man, you mutton heads. This is why it's he and Otto are in the attic just getting high. It's a total, like, you know, dorm room atmosphere with the old shitty couch and like the old TV propped up.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, shemp is hemp spelled backwards.
Well, yeah. Otto is Otto backwards.
I was like, now I'm scared.
All right, so gonna call out my good old buddies Tim and Manuel.
Nice.
And so we would smoke and watch like Old School or Snatch or whatever, and always get busted by Mrs. Williams.
Those are 2 great movies.
And so I kind of relate to this, not from like the dorm room aspect of it, but like I feel like I was Otto, who was the guy like, hey man, you want to hang out? Like, can I crash here? I don't want to go to school today. You know, and he's like, I don't know, I got a job and I got to pay rent, because like, and with the situation and whatnot. But we always get high together. We always had our little rituals and whatnot, and it just kind of cracks me up because like that, I feel like the writers nailed the aesthetic of everything, like the cheap couch, the bong on the table that's like with a plywood with singer blocks. They're the Led Zeppelin poster or Aerosmith poster, the little monkey thing.
Like a great connotation for me. Yeah, it was great for me because it just symbolize, a great time in my life where
Right, the shitty
we
TV.
were just kids. We barely had places that we could just go and be on our own. And you found that place that you could just relax. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
And then now if I looked at it, I'd be like, God, I'm so glad I moved on.
I
But
don't really
it's,
want to sit on that. My back and everything,
right. So then Marge comes up and confronts them, after they've been watching whatnot.
She's still being nice too.
She's being nice. She's like, what does this have to do with your eyes? As soon as I graduate, I'm so out of here. And then we get an interruption of a news report with Kent Brockman. Bum, 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 news. And the petition has been fully signed. And I love the signatures on there. I did a little bit from memory. There's like Abe Simpson, there's Skinner, there's Agnes, there's Helen Lovejoy, like people you would expect to have on there. And at the very bottom, there's Homer Chase Simpson with all the O's having
faces.
Yep, and all the O's have peace symbols in them. So of course, Homer, not being able to read, immediately stands up and goes, "We have to stop that initiative. Marge, I'm going to need 10,000 veggie burritos. No guac in mine. Good night, Homer." Dude, your mom is hot.
Dude, your mom is hot.
I love how Otto is just like, yeah.
No guac in mine.
I feel like it's Otto and Mo. It's like, hey, Mr. S, you doing all right there,
They're from the same place, so they probably are akin in that way.
Now we get our big guest of the episode, Fish. Have you ever been to a Fish concert?
I have. It took me a long time, but the one I saw was really freaking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any highlights or mentions? Did you hear any kind of Simpsons riffs or something like that through any of the songs?
I don't think I heard. I saw this probably 2019, 2018.
Okay.
I don't remember Simpsons riffs, but it was a hell of a show.
Because Matt Groening also have seen Fish, and there was a Simpsons theme that they're playing, they're jamming out, and all of a sudden they went like very much in this episode, bum, 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 type of thing.
Now, did they know he was going to be there?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So I that's what I'm saying. It was one of the parts of the commentary that was actually interesting. Matt, once again, is sometimes the most interesting part because he's like, look, we should watch the Mo bit. And why is acid and weed trips the same? And also, I was at a Fish concert and they did a Simpsons call out, and I think that's rad, right?
I always wish that we got Matt talking more in the commentary.
That would be cool.
He was a prime voice in that because he's always so amazing to listen to. And
but
funny.
Also, if you've had a job for as long as almost a lot of the fan base has been alive, are you going to remember everything? I don't know. But Fish is there, and Homer pulls together a concert out of his nether regions and gets a big headliner to play, and we get
to fight against Ned's.
It's pro pot time. Everybody's having a concert, but what's fucking hilarious is that someone's starting to smoke a doob at a Fish concert, and one of the bandmates are like, whoa, 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 cut out the music.
Okay, hold on. I smell marijuana smoke.
That better be medicinal. If Fish doesn't see a prescription slip, we're out of here.
In comes Hans Smallman and gives up this thing to the band.
Whoa, this guy is seriously ill.
My doctor never told me that. I had to hear it from Fish.
It's clear.
I love how they start the song back up.
Run. You gotta run like an antelope out of control.
A 1 and a 2 and a you know what to do.
Yeah. And again, they end with
an antelope out of control.
Obviously, some time has passed, and they kind of ended again with a little nice guitar riff of bum 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 bum. And you can tell we're high because we're doing notes. One of the band members introduces Homer as a real potheed. And I love that. Potheed is one of my favorites. I am not a pothead. I am a potheed.
Was bred into social consciousness Was
I am a
this
I don't know. My
Pothied?
life as a Pothied
I
started
mean, I'm
very
sure
young.
somebody said it before, but is this the pop reference that made all people share this knowledge?
But we still behind him on stage with Fish get a Citizen Kane banner that shows his
Huge
suit
banner.
like literally 6 hours earlier where he still had a tie.
It's fine.
But like but no, it's not fine, but like it's you could tell like there was like stage
It's
4
starting
of
to wear very
5 wear
quickly.
and tear. You know what I mean? Like there
And
was obvious.
I love in that huge poster, he looks really stoned. Like they pulled a recent picture of him, and he looks droopy.
And that was one of the things the animators were discussing, like how dilated the pupils do we make it? How do we show that
Yeah.
people are high? And so for folks who really want to get into it, there is a little wrinkle under one of the eyes of Homer. They're always kind of half set. They're a little bit red tinted, but you could barely notice unless you're tight. And that dilation of the pupils are slightly bigger. But it's very
Mm-hmm.
obvious also because there's always
It's
smoke.
excellent animation. Like you can tell, it's relatable. I would say.
And to make it full circle, when you combine that with the smoke and the music hints, you can very clearly see throughout this episode that people are blitzed.
They are having a great old time.
He has this speech that he's going to give to the people. And my favorite line of the speech, whether you suffer from glaucoma or just rented the Matrix, medical marijuana makes things fabulous. Medically,
of course. I love how he comes out and he's like, thank you for taking time off from your jobs. And all the bodies
what?
are like,
Huh?
what
Huh?
job? What is it?
And we also see the blind guy who got busted for smoking pot in the audience, along with the two hippies. That was when Homer figured out his middle name was Jay. So they have long established stoner characters. I think Snake is also in the crowd, who's down to blaze. Otto. There's also a gal who's a very attractive blonde with a red balloon that looks like she's doing whippets.
How do you know this detail, Josh?
I'm going to
We'll
go
talk
into
about
that
it
for
later.
my final thoughts.
I know the answer.
Dr. Seuss
So
hat on Jebediah Springfield statue. And
I did not notice that at all.
yep. I know.
So
let me tell you this.
okay.
Writing these notes was a stream of consciousness.
So now they've had the big, speech, and he goes, so my mellow fellow citizens, when you go to that voting booth on Tuesday the 7th, and Fish goes, Homer, that was yesterday.
What?
Oh man, they already voted and we lost. I can't believe we spaced on the date, man.
And then the best part is when he finds the newspaper, he is literally walking to the edge of the stage. And there's just
And
a
there's
newspaper stand for
like one of those,
because
you put a quarter in and pull the flap down.
and again, this is one of the other like few moments that were cool with the commentary. They were like, yeah, I always forget as a writer that when I'm saying like, oh, Homer's going to find from a newspaper stand, that would require animation for him to go across the street where there's randomly a newspaper stand, or
and then come back. No, it doesn't
right,
work.
or
right
you could just walk to the edge of the stage.
It is a moment in the show that is extremely
so
funny. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's awesome.
And then one of the other counterpoints was, well, if it was Looney Tunes era, Bugs Bunny would have just pulled it out from his back.
Let's see. Oh, look.
Okay, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I agree.
So, like, they had at least enough of an animation budget for Homer to walk.
There's another
podcast, 5 paces off a stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right at the edge of the stage. It's on the stage. Like,
it's so funny. I've been giving rants all week where people are like, "That doesn't. Who cares? What are you doing?" And I feel like that was another one.
Yeah.
Well, you know who's there for him at the very end? Otto and Homer are there like, well, what are we going to do? We could just stare at our hands. And I love how Otto's like, oh, right.
Oh, that's right.
I married that chick.
They call them fingers, but I never see them fing. Oh, there they go.
And apparently, I think maybe it was John Vitti or somebody else on the commentary says, like, I'm pretty sure I've used that joke twice.
Listen, this is one of the lines that I have taken into my own life. And we'll say, they call them fingers, but you never see them fing.
But if anybody is doing
Kind of a fat Tony Banana.
I think it was either the critic or somebody else, but yeah, no, I hear you. I once again, I the Simpsons, my brain is part yellow, always references stuff. Of course it came from them. They're super geniuses and never would repeat anything unless they were gonna make
They had
even
how
more
many massive
more
shows?
money.
Yeah.
So the next day we get the
They
cops.
call them fingers.
So we got our Springfield's finest. And it's like, hey, yeah, guess what we're gonna do? We're not gonna dispose of the pot by burying it. We're gonna burn it
There we go. Dump all that medical marijuana on there.
on the street in front of the precinct. Because that makes sense.
And they just have it all in a
Right.
pour.
No,
in front
this
of
is
them.
all illegal. Like, 'cause
They
that's
just
what they
toss
do.
the match
with the
on there.
Throw on that sack of barber hair.
Oh, there's nothing worse than burnt hair. Like that was wrong of them to put in there because it invokes Josh. It fucking invokes, dude.
Yeah, where did they get all that hair? Right? Was there a calling? They're like, we need all the barber hair in Springfield.
Where'd the hair come from, Josh?
I know.
Like where did the hair come from?
Oh, I could have smoked that pot and worn that hair.
Homie, you don't need drugs anymore. Your eyes are all better. He's
And
like,
she makes one last
this-
plea too for the kids, right? And she's like, come on, just do it for us, just give it up. And he's like, all right, I'll give it up for you. And it's like, well, while you're doing stuff for us, Bart says, would you tie up your bathrobe when you walk around the house?
Never. Of course. Would you tie up your bathrobe when you walk around the house? Never.
Never.
That's such a dad thing to say.
Classic Homer.
So Otto's like, yeah, can I still crash here, right? Get out.
Remember when I dropped my keys and you thought the phone was ringing?
Yeah, get out. Oh,
and
man.
we cut to the bar.
Oh, man.
And Mo is so, he's like, hey, I'm so happy you're sober. And Homer's like, going cold turkey is not as delicious as it sounds.
It's a great Homer line.
Fantastic. I also love the whole bit of like, what were they going to do? They're going to do an intervention, right?
Well, yeah, they're like all psyched that he was like, they're like, look, I'm glad you're off the wacky tobacco. And Lenny's like, yeah, you were getting all spacey and everything. And he's like, we were going to have an intervention. And Carl's like, yeah, but planning the party, I got alcohol poisoning. And everybody's like laughing. Oh, yeah, I nearly died. Everybody's laughing.
I was already making excuses not to go to your funeral. Lenny literally does a spit
each other
take.
up at this.
Lenny literally does a
It's just
spit take.
social
It's
commentary,
so good.
Josh. They're
No,
like,
that's what I love about
marijuana's
it.
Out.
Correct. Right. No, like, weed's the bad thing, but they're like still doing alcohol shit, left and right.
I nearly died.
Yeah.
Oh. So
Message. A few days later, Homer is happy to be off a pot though. Like he's really like, pluses and minuses. His family is more important. He's doing the right thing.
And it's like it's been 3 days and my mind is clearer. My sperm count is up and I'm able to recognize simple shapes and patterns. He's just like, Dad, you just said that 3 minutes ago.
Irregardless, I will never be a slave to
Unregardless.
this. And he points to a joint that says Dentist Tuesday.
Marge is like, why are you keeping that thing?
A reminder, honey. A reminder. I also love how Burns calls the house, who totally knows who Homer Simpson is now. So,
Hey, we get an ahoy hoy.
Ahoy hoy.
Ahoy,
We need to
hoy.
talk to Homer
Hello.
Simpson. But I like how he knows who Homer Simpson is, right? Like we've come full
Yes.
circle.
Yes.
Right?
Finally. Although he calls him Executive VP. I have it written here. So he doesn't
Hmm.
actually say his name.
Interesting. This will
The
need
intrigue
further analysis.
continues. You've watched it how many times, Josh?
Well, no, I'm saying the
We'll
relationship.
talk about it later.
I'm
We'll
talking
talk
about the
it later.
relationship of Burns to Homer's name recognition. Anyway, and
yes. I have a lot to say
that's
about
what I
that.
was getting at. It's like, oh, he
At the
actually
beginning,
knows.
when he goes, "You're a happy Homer," because he busts in, and this is
Correct.
after our last
Right.
episode.
I
He
thought
comes
this.
in, and Burns is like, "Who is this happy
Well, that's why I
person?"
thought this was the breakthrough moment we were hoping for. Post
Yep.
Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And so Burns is basically like a little upset, and he's just like, "Well, I'll either tickle your ribs, because Homer cannot find him funny anymore,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Burns. Like, I can't find you funny now because he's
So
off the
I'll either
wacky
tickle your
tacky."
ribs or feed them to my dogs. We're ordering a
Now-
pizza. What do you want on the pie?
Extra cheese.
Who do you
What'd
think I
take
am,
me for?
Lorenzo de Medici?"
Lorenzo de Medici.
I did not who that
The
was.
Medici's, famous Italian family that funded the arts for many hundreds of years, generationally, and I've seen a lot of their stuff. I got to spend a summer in Florence, and they're written all over that town. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jinkies.
So Marge is trying to cheer Homer up because she's kind of like, hey, I'm the one who forced this, right? So I gotta be there to support. I gotta be a little, the person in the corner being like, hey, you can do this, boss. You got this. And her
She's like-
advice is awful because she's like, hey, look, I know he's like intimidating. Just imagine he's naked.
Homer's like, ah!
No, I mean, but he's wearing a funny hat.
Ah! He goes twice as high. He's like,
Right, it drops in the fetal position.
It's
starts rocking back and forth. The only blessing is his suit is finally clean because he's done smoking weed. So that is the whole thing. Like now that he's sober, he has another new suit that he can apparently wear until the end of the episode.
Oh, that's good production value right there.
Yeah, no, they keep the themes going, but he still shows up like a trooper, and Burns is doing his best, and he like makes some kind of reference that nobody gets, and it's basically Homer. Okay, so this is
He's
like
sitting there with Smithers, in the
this
office.
is like when two friends have a podcast and they're like, hey, you should really listen to my podcast. I think it's very funny. And you force them to sit down and listen to you live perform said podcast while they cannot go anywhere. And the real twist of the whole matter is their entire life savings and family fortune is tied to that because you are their boss. And that's what we got right now. We have
Mr.
Smithers
Burns.
and Homer
We
just
get a great amount
cheating
of
a
Mr. Burns
grin,
in this.
trying to like be so excited about the speech that Burns is about to give.
Yeah.
And they know that their like future is on the line based off of this speech, but they cannot deliver because the content is shit.
The exact line is, so profit margins will be thinner than Louise Brooks's negligee.
You know Louise Brooks? The silent star of Lulu.
And they just look at each other. They're like, they're trying to smile, but they can't.
Again, the animation is so on point because you couldn't have made a bigger grin without them just being an entire smile.
Exactly. Like it didn't go to their eyes. You know what I mean? It's
and
great.
then Burns starts to sweat, and it's a single droplet of water liquid. And he and it has a little like just like you're just eating like an oyster.
Smithers like if he gets flop sweat, he'll die of dehydration. And you see the
drenched with sweat.
drop, and then you get the when he like pushes it back in.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. And then so Burns is like, I'm gonna go take a bathiola.
We get another Burnsism, which is I'm going to take a bathiola.
And Homer is like, look, I have a solution.
This stuff
you're not gonna like it. He holds up a joint. He's like, I have this dentist reminder from Tuesday. It has a very specific set of skills. Those set of skills allows you to get high. and laugh
It can
at
make
anything that your boss will
funny.
say.
Exactly.
I am not telling you that you should smoke this, but if you do not, I will find you, I will catch you, and I will
Well, more
regret every
importantly,
single
we're both
decision
going to be
that you
fired.
ever made, because we will lose our jobs, and we will not make it to tomorrow.
And then I will hunt you down. It's what I do best.
But instead,
Wait,
instead of
movie.
that badass monologue that nobody cares about, Homer basically says, "Start inhaling, Waylon."
That's a great. Start inhaling, Waylon.
And then we get
We get
Smithers
a weird cut then,
yeah, right,
to where Smithers is sitting in a
Judy Garland.
outfit, which he mentions, and it's like a velvet pantsuit, and it's random. And I had written down, I don't get this. You know what my thought was though, Josh, is maybe on weed he was more comfortable in himself, and so he could finally wear what he wanted to wear, which was Judy Garland's outfit. But it turns out that different.
It sounds like it was a deleted scene because they were planning some kind of musical number where he all of a sudden has a Judy Garland outfit on and does a ba 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 ba, but the episode was going long already, so it was cut very, very early.
Yeah,
But
so you think there was no cut scene
but
in
not like to the
DVD?
point where they wanted to change the animation.
Right.
And then they could just kind of like have it.
They're
It's
like, "Yeah,
also,
fuck it."
but it's also slapstick, right? Which continues with this episode's theme. Is like it's very slapstick, and you can just all of a sudden be like, of course, every time I get high, I magically spawn like Venom, a Judy Garland outfit.
Look, hey, it inspired me. I had to use my imagination to try and figure out the fuck what's going on. Oh, so he's high. So he's getting high as shit.
Everybody snaps out of it all of a sudden. They're like, "Oh my god, Mr. Burns has been in the tub for 60 minutes," and they
We're
rush
talking
into the
about
bathroom.
Mickey Rooney.
They rush into the bathroom and find basically a floater. And
Oh yeah,
we're not talking about a turd. We're
He's
talking about a
down.
Burns.
Oh, it's terrible scene, Josh. It's terrible. He's clearly dead. Like
Yes.
Mr. Burns is gone.
So dead.
And Smithers is just absolutely distraught. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Burns, you are too beautiful for this world."
And then he squeezes too hard.
He hugs him. He hugs him hard.
He
And
squeezes too hard.
He
Fucking pops out.
squirts out like across the room.
And
Mr. Burns hits the wall with like a smack.
I did like, so there was a moment in the commentary. It's like, "Oh, we could never show Mr. Burns butt like that anymore after Janet Jackson on the Super Bowl."
Oh, no.
And I was like, whoa. Whoa.
That's a
I don't know.
Callback.
I mean,
That's a hell of a callback.
That is so wild because I don't think that's true, but I also don't want to do the research.
Let's just sort of know. Let's live in a world where
I really don't want to go down the Mr.
that's
Burns
not a fact.
bare butt fucking rabbit hole.
I love so.
Yeah.
So and he crumples in that, which we both like the animation where he crumples down the wall, and he's like in this twisted form. It's awful. It's awful.
It's very
looking.
awful.
Well, hello there. I didn't see you. My chums and I thought it was quite corking how Union Carbide is not destroying America.
That's right, Randolph. We are definitely not creating death rays either.
We will not sleep until all the trees are eliminated.
Saved? Randolph saved?
Oh, saved, quite right. Saved, yes. My apologies.
Yes. And I don't care what CPAC says. We aren't cloning sheep for human pleasures.
And though it would benefit our investors, we are certainly not invested in an El Salvadorian prison to house Americans who have been deported without trials.
And we wouldn't test on animals. No.
And not test on humans without consent either.
That would be illegal.
And we would never.
No, never.
At Union Carbide, you can put the U.S. in industry chemicals.
Which we don't put in the rivers.
No, certainly not.
Certainly not, no.
But then
It's
Smithers
slapstick. It's slapstick.
he starts to connive and figure out like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. Ed Eisner's been dead for years. Ted Turner's just a hologram,
Yeah,
and
we
they
can
basically
do this,
where we finally get
investors meeting.
right, and this is where we finally get Weekend at Burnsies. Have you ever
Yep.
seen that movie?
Hell yeah,
I have not.
of course.
I've never
Yeah, I
seen it.
mean, it was.
Is it everything
It's
this last
slapstick. It's
like
slapstick, as you can imagine. Very much like
because
this. But
it cracks me up through the commentary that like we called this whole like the whole episode Weekend at Burnsies,
Yeah,
but we only referenced the movie that the title was based off of for like the last 5 seconds.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. Could have been mentioned.
It's
Weekend at
just funny.
Bernie's. Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, I think it was
Is it
Andrew
good?
McCarthy's in that. It was fun. I was at the right age. I was probably like
Okay.
11, 12. So it
Oh,
was
sure.
perfect for
All
me,
right.
you know.
Right.
It's kind of one of those ridiculous like late 80s movies.
Okay.
Where they walk a dead person around.
Right. I've
They
seen like the
animate
trailer
him,
and some basic clips, but I haven't ever seen the movie. You know what I
including
mean?
making him dance and things like that.
Okay. All right.
I know
Well,
it's not very good. I don't think. I
guess
think I'd
who's
probably
the
be
opener for the investor meeting?
So that we got a Bill Clinton sighting. They cut to the big hall; it's all filled, and Bill Clinton is on stage. And
So
he
when
says,
somebody says I was an embarrassment to the country, I say that depends on what the meaning of was is, jerk. You owe me $200,000. Good night, everybody.
and Homer's like, "Bill Clinton, everyone. He's Jimmy Carter with a fox attitude." I love how Clinton is like gyrating his hips, with his hands
I
behind
also
his head.
love that they mentioned in the commentary that it was a little bit harder to like write post 9/11
I
for
bet.
stuff than
I
it
bet.
was
Of
like
course it
pre
was.
9/11. And I think
We
this
were
fell in with
we're
like
still welcome
right
in that
within
show.
that border, which makes it interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, back
We
to
don't
the plot.
process our trauma enough in this country.
Yeah.
And okay, in 3, 2, 1, back.
Yeah, back to the plot. Editing's gonna be fun.
Homer is like the MC, and he's like, and now a man you will see is definitely not dead, Mr. Montgomery Burns.
And we have Smithers in the rafters, and he's like doing the whole like
it's like a
marionette
puppet.
stuff.
Where it's got these fish wire tied to like hooks, because they make it look like they're hooks in Mr. Burns's like arms and legs and face.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty detailed.
Puppet master.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I like how Homer comes out and he's like, "Oh, thank you, Bill Clinton." After the last great, amazing fucking quote we just had, and it's gonna be, we are going long, so can I just open the floor to questions? And we get another Dr. Nick.
And Dr. Nick, we had Dr. Nick the last episode.
Do you want to do this, Dr. Nick?
He goes, Mr. Burns, a 2-part question. One, when will we see a prophet again? I can't do this. You got to do this.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Yeah, no, you know me. I have to practice.
Okay.
But you do a really good one, so you have to do it.
I have a 2-part question. 1, when will you see a prophet again? And 2, what's that red stuff coming out of your ears?
His show is like there's like blood dripping out of Burns'
so
ears.
obvious.
It's not. He's not okay.
But Homer is still trying to talk it away, right? He's like, "Hey, we may be losing money."
He's like, "Mr. Burns, may I field this one?"
Yeah.
and when he says that, Smithers is like
makes
using
him
the
smile
in his face to make his head nod up and down, and like give a thumbs up and stuff. It's great.
And that's not the only animation too, because as soon as we get Homer going,
don't bother with that $60 million. It doesn't mean we won't still like dance the night away. What's the song they play there? I can't remember.
Oh, they basically go from a very lighthearted tap dance to the can.
That's
And
right. And I mean, man, Smithers is working the strings. Man, he's really doing a great job
he's
until the end.
pretty talented, to
Oh
be
yeah.
honest.
Oh man,
I have like
he's got him
man,
doing
good for you. And
one
then
yeah.
so once again, it's a visual moment for an audio medium. But Mr. Burns, his strings break, and he kind of falls the same way he does in the bathroom. But instead of
Horrible.
going like in a leftward arc against the wall, it's a downward arc from like a table, and his head is still there, and the
It's
music
like
is
his head
playing.
and chest are on the ground. His back is
But it's just
distorted
it
in
no,
the
it's
wrong
it's
direction.
face down, ass up. And that's the way Mr. Burns gets resuscitated.
Is he was saying he was jostled by the song.
Yes, but it's funny because beforehand, like literally, Homer has the curtains closed and it's still on Burns' head, and he's kind of sticking out with his
It
tongue
looks
out.
terrible. Like
Yeah,
just
and then
his
he's still like again a weekend at
dead
Burns' point,
face is sticking
and
out from
he
under
like
the
literally kind of
curtains.
like kicks him down and whatnot.
Just,
And this is
you
where
just feel like nobody noticed me pushing this head of a clearly dead Mr. Burns through the curtain. So, but he pops up like he looks good, like he's in his suit because they had him in his suit. But like he pops up and he's completely fine.
oh yeah,
And
but he's
like
still
back.
tied to
He's
Smithers.
back. He's like, I'm back. Thanks.
Yep. Oh,
But he
good for
gets the
them. We
steel
lost
strings
$60
hanging
million and they're cheering for more. Fantastic.
And so Homer is like, oh, and you wanted to take him to the hospital. And Burns is
Oh,
like,
so the fucking venom has shown his fangs.
you didn't want to take him to the hospital?
Smithers, make you slap him. You call that a slap? Make me slap you. Now both. Now just you. Now give me a taste. Now both again. Now all three.
Well, the worm has finally shown its fangs. Smithers, make me slap him. You call that a slap? Make me slap you. Now both. Now just you. Now give me a taste. Now both again. Now all three.
And that's the end of the episode. Fantastic ending to the episode.
It is fantastic. Yeah, no, it's so
is
good.
one of those jokes that stays with
But
you.
before we go further, Robin, do you hear that sound?
What's that, Josh?
Well, it's the
Krusty brand seal of approval.
It's your episode. You get to pick. Why don't you give us our final thoughts and your score?
I love South Park, and this is a great episode of South Park. Oh wait, what? No, Simpsons.
That's the show.
The Simpsons. I want to get high, so high.
I have no idea what's going on.
So, this is a top shelf episode. Absolutely top shelf episode. It's a lot of fun. When it came out, I definitely was smoking weed, and it was fun to see it start to be socially acceptable. That they showed it on TV again. Like the Simpsons pushed the envelope, and we should all be very grateful for that. I thought that they hedged it a bit too much for my taste. You know, the anti-weed part of the takes up a lot of the episode, where they have to justify every reference they make by saying it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. And I thought the Bible was a bit much in the episode, so. But it's a fantastic episode, and it was so much fun to riff on. Definitely, yeah. So I give it a 4. That's why I didn't give it a 5, and I really feel like I went on too long for that justification. It was like a lot for just like a little payoff.
I mean, if only I could go 20 on my score.
Why is that, Josh?
Because obviously I'm giving it a 5.
Excellent.
All right. The thing I've been holding back, which is wild because we've been recording for way too long.
Do the kids still say that, Josh? Spill the tea?
I downloaded this episode onto my laptop back when things were not so legal, and I had this on a laptop where I was blessed with a very easy job. I had certain school parameters for homework and whatnot, but I would do my homework at my day job at LA City Parks and Recs. And then during the summer, I had a lot of free time. And sometimes it involved watching this episode on repeat for so long because you have 20 hours a week. And even when you're like busy during the semesters of college and doing the homework stuff, you still have time to
Just have it
kill.
on. Yeah.
And so I have seen this so many times that is kind of like burned into the like brain cells of my being.
Could you put in like a guesstimate on that? Like how many times you've seen this episode?
I wouldn't say hundreds. I would probably say like 40 maybe.
Okay.
Or so. It's just for this week I watched it 6 times. So
you know what I loved is that when we were talking about this episode on the phone, and you would just start quoting it because you would see like all your favorite quotes from it. Yeah, you've seen it a lot. Yeah.
Well, it's just it's repetition. It's not even if it's my favorite or not. It's just the one I've seen the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and it's because I was under those circumstances. It's like when you have the one VHS tape that has your favorite movie on it, and you just play until it wears out. And that's very much this episode for me. I also love how it's neatly divided between 3 sections that are equally hilarious. We have the GMO food, the scarecrow, pop-up video, Homer becoming a crow daddy, and we have also Flanders fucking at the cross, and then like they get shooed away and they come right back. I mean, that always makes me laugh. I have to regroup at Red Lobster every time I see that scene. And then we have the pod jokes. We have a Poe feed. He's fucking couldn't be happier. Like, and he's so great. And Hipper is there as an enabler, and I fucking love him for that. The music was fantastic. I love Otto. And Otto, we haven't done a lot of Otto yet, but he has his moments in here. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Like, like,
my name is Otto. I like to get Lotto.
Right? Like, even the classic line, like, I call him fingers, but I never seen him finger.
That's like one of my favorite lines.
So good. It's so fucking good.
They call him fingers.
We also have a great dynamic between husband and wife that isn't like marriage ending. Like, they are working through this. They are trying to figure it out. It's like, hey, look, I'm okay. Like, you say it's for your eyes. I'm going to give you a little bit of breathe room, even though I disagree. And then I'm just going to bring up how it's not about your eyes anymore. It's about the fucking Three Stooges with Otto.
I love how Homer just destroys the scarecrow. Like he just walks home with this episode. They never even mention it again.
He fucking destroys it.
Takes it down.
Yeah. Also, they never mention GMO. They never mention anything from Act 1.
Just use sense. Like, it's probably not an evil monster.
Right. But it's also funny because they don't mention anything from Act 1 before. There's no like Crow Daddy. There's no like growing your own crops. Like growing your own crops do not even happen. It's just all about Homer like reconciling himself with like the drug habit, right?
Love the Homer heavy episodes. Bart has almost no lines in this.
And then it gets wrapped up with Smithers launching a Weekend at Bernie's like attempt. And you're like, well, how else are you going to end this wild episode? Well, we're going to do it with slap jokes, and they're going to land, and it's going to be so fun. Like, you can like literally cut out the whole thing, like, Dr. Nick, all the other things that are happening with the like the whole meeting. Bill Clinton, as much as I love doing the voice, is like, he's Jimmy Carter with the Fox attitude. It was great. But at the same time, it's
such funny animation of this.
Like, you're just trying to land a plane at that point, and I totally get it. So obviously, I'm infatuated with this episode. It's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm trying to be controversial. You know what I mean? So,
well, we all know you're the rebel of the Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurts. That's why your name starts with R. Well, and that's a wrap for Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurts. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you are feeling generous, then please leave a 5-star review with a few sentences. We are currently on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Snurch shoutouts are birthdays for April. There's so many of you people that I love, but I don't really say that too often. So here you go with nonsense that you won't ever hear. Denise, Manuel, Sarah, Kian, happy motherfucking birthday. Weird Al's White and Nerdy, because it's stuck in my head. Dr. Moxford, the reddest fan of them all.
The Doctor.
Want to hear more from your old pal Snurts? Then check out the PlayStation Experience on your podcast platform of choice. I also can be found on most of the things that
I can be found on most of the things, you know, like just like if you look, you'll find it. Most things, like
you
on the
got me,
TV,
you fucking
like...
asshole. What's your fucking outros, you bastard? This is definitely staying in.
I was now it seems inappropriate. I want to just, you know, give a shout out to my family. You know, this this
family friendly
holiday little Easter week. It's always fun. We got young kids in the family that we're dyeing eggs today. It's great. They're coming over. I'm hosting Easter next week, and I have them at the house, and really looking forward to it. And my nephew, I talked about before, is my godson. Very proud of him. He chose his college. He's going to a way program in Rome for Marist College in upstate New York. I think it's Marist. I might be wrong about that. And very proud of him for that. And that and well, it's the fuckalistic, the blunt I twisted, this lemified, buddhified blunt on your discus. It was Cypress Hill. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Like hits from the bong, I feel so strong. All right, motherfucker. What's your quote of the episode?
Now 3. Excellent.
Well, our goal is to get the next episode out on May 11th. We picked Mother Simpson from season 7. I understand already that our mothers will be disappointed based off of this episode. So until next time, folks, smell you later, true believers.
Bye.
I fucked up that end part.
We fucked up most parts. Josh, we fucked up most parts.
Same old garbage.
Now all 3. Excellent.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.